We are live with another episode of Commercial Roofing Radio, and I'm here with my good friend Mervyn Salas. He's the National Sales Director for Roofers Choice Insurance. He's been in the business for a long time, and he can really save you and protect you and do a lot of things, but he works with commercial roofing companies, commercial business owner, and big business. So, man, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you doing today, Mervyn?
Alan, man, I appreciate you having me. You've been doing a lot of good things, man. So finally to get to sit down with you, man, it's good. Appreciate you having me.
I've been chasing this guy for a while. So if you don't know it, we both originate from the roofing capital of the world, as you might call it.
That's right. That's right.
Waxahachie High School, Waxahachie, Texas. So it's funny that I say that because it's kind of true, right?
Oh, man. I mean, especially, being in the space that we're in, I travel all across the country.
Yeah.
I'll be in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, doing a presentation, and somebody in the back room say, "Oh, you're from Waxahachie? Yeah. I know where that's at. I know so-and-so. I know so-and-so. I know the Mix. I know it's just a long tree of, a roofing tree, if you will, of roofing contractors that have come out of that small area of Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I started at such a young age. So I was going in summers in high school and stuff, and then hanging out with you and partying with Mervyn and having fun. And so the day that you entered the industry, it's like, oh, hey, Mervyn, my boy. Yeah. It feels cool and it's nice, but. One of the reasons, I don't know if you've ever seen that episode, but one of the things that I like to talk about just to start with is I was born into the roofing industry. I didn't have a choice, right? I was hooked. Right. Right. How about yourself? How did you get into the roofing industry?
Yeah, so good question. And a lot of it kind of leads back to what we're talking to, being the mecca of roofing. There's a lot of other opportunities that maybe just not a sales or a roofing operation or a contractor themselves, but there's other products out there such as insurance, right? And the people that I work for now, Roofers Choice Insurance, I grew up with the son of the owner that started Roofers Choice Insurance. He and I were, real good friends. We're still good friends. We were in each other's wedding. We're really good friends. And, I met them when I was 10 years old. And when I finally graduated college, Roofers Choice was getting its traction, getting some wheels under them. And they brought me on to handle the national sales front of things. And ever since then, it's definitely taken off. I'm not going to take the full credit for it. I mean, I definitely have a good solid foundation and a good solid team helping me and allows me to do what I need to get done. Right. So that's kind of how I got into it, is just knowing Jack Scott, the owner of Roofers Choice Insurance, who started a roofing specific program for roofing contractors, one of the bigger contractors in the nation, especially back in the early 2000s. We start with him. He's like, "Hey man, you did a good job for me. You sell a good insurance product. The product is working in multiple states." He said, "Write my buddy here." Well, that buddy here was, "Hey, I like that. All
referrals.
Referrals, right? So he looks up and he has 7, 8, 9 contractors that are all doing, close to 100 million plus in revenue, especially back then. He's like, "Man, I got something here.
I think I found my niche."
He's like, "Hey man, I got something here." Started the program. And we got partnerships and started getting, cultivating good relationships in the industry. Of course, that led to, hey, I need some sales guys. I need some sales team. I need a foundation. I need some more help, right? Brought Brett on, who as well. And then Brett brought me on, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
Man, it's a cool story when you know the people as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure a lot of people at home, you probably know these people. Like Jack Scott. There's not many people as good as Jack Scott. Jack Scott is an amazing dude. I just like seeing him when I'm grabbing lunch at what's the seafood place? Atkins, right?
Atkins, yeah.
I see, and he's like, "Oh, sit down, come on." He feels like he's your father, right?
Oh yeah,
or an uncle at least, right? And then Brett, his son, really took that baton and ran with it and helped grow the company. And what did he do? He grabbed Mervyn Salas, who, if you knew Mervyn, I think homecoming king, prom king, something like that, right?
I wasn't quite at that stature.
So, moral of the story is you're friendly, you're outgoing, you're personable. I couldn't think of anybody better to be the director of sales, right? Mm-hmm. So you fit in that position. You've helped grow that company. Relationships got you here.
Absolutely.
We talk about relationships a lot. So what is it that helped you excel? I mean, when we talked early days, I was forming my tech company. I went to you. I called you. I was like, "Man, how'd you guys grow so fast?" I blink and you're the largest roofers insurance agency there is in the world, right? Yep. And so tell us some about that, because I say that. Let me preface this, right? If you're watching this and you're a commercial roofer, if you're watching this and you're in anything, it's business to business. You are selling business to business. So how did you help your team and your amazing company grow so fast? Is there any secrets and tools, anything that just helped you blow up, or what?
I don't know if there was a secret or a tool that I can pinpoint and say, hey, this was my deal that just skyrocketed, the level of success that we've gotten to. But I would just say the little things, the never burning a bridge, always keeping good relationships, right? Always keeping an upbeat. I'm drawing a blank here, but anyway, I know
attitude. You answer your phone.
Yeah, being accountable, being reliable, and just those things, and also too traveling all across the country and doing these types of presentations. Because what I found in our space is a lot of times
do work, son, right?
Yeah, exactly. But what I found in our space, especially on the insurance side of things, contractors, they don't know what they're buying when they're purchasing their insurance program.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I see it all the time.
If they're buying insurance. Right?
Exactly. I mean, I see it all the time where a height restriction or certain state is excluded and they're working on this in this state. Or again, those height restrictions, open roof exclusions, all these exclusions that we often see, that I often see in roofing contractors' policies, that they have no clue that's in there.
Yeah.
Right? But then, they'll go out and do an insurance job, restoration job, and I ask them, hey, well, have you ever dealt with a property owner who didn't have such good insurance? Oh, man, all the time. And I tell them, like, hey, well, that can be you if you don't pay attention to the insurance product that you're procuring for your company. Yeah. Right? So, again, I think that's, putting the work in, putting the legwork in, being, dependable.
Yep.
And never burning a bridge, whether I did business with that individual or not, because in this industry, it could all come back full circle.
It goes back.
Right?
We know everybody.
You came from a contractor to a tech, and now look at the space that you're in, right?
Yeah,
it could all come back full circle. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. What I'm hearing is you're a problem solver, right? You utilize relationships, you get the referrals, you do the work, you got a great company to stand behind. It's always first and foremost of being a good salesperson. Is you can be the best salesperson in the world, but if you're selling snake oil, you ain't going to be working for so long.
Yeah.
But you've got a great company, so you go out, you do the work, but you solve the problems. And I try to relate that to roofing. It's like, okay, so you're going into a roofing business and you're saying, let me see your policy, let me see what your insurance looks like, and let me identify and see if you have any problems. Isn't that the same pitch that we're saying? Like, hey, you got a big roof here, you got hail damage, let me inspect it and see if you got any issues with it, or you may or may not. And then you do the report and you solve the problems, right? It's kind of simple when you break it down.
In life, I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. People are going to hire you or seek you to be a problem solver. Yeah. No matter what that is, whether you're a roofing contractor, an insurance agent, a plumber, whatever the case may be, they're coming to you to solve an issue that they are currently facing.
Then it's the little things. Pick up your phone.
Yes.
Be dependable.
Yes.
Be responsible.
Exactly.
Love it. So insurance, you touched on something like, hey, you guys work with insurance companies. Yes. So, most roofers, especially storm chasers, hate insurance companies. So what's it like being kind of on the other side of that? You technically kind of, now, broker, right? A brokerage firm, you kind of represent the insurance companies, but kind of like represent the roofers. Do you have to, like you said, you explain it. Imagine if you were this person, would you go buy Allstate insurance or would you go buy Chubb? Like, do you use that to your advantage? You kind of relate to that. What's that like, servicing people who are actively like going against insurance companies, but you're telling them, hey, it's insurance?
It actually works in my favor.
Yeah.
By doing that approach. Because again, it hits home better when I can say, hey, have you dealt with a property owner that didn't have insurance that was up to par on their property? And they start naming off all these carriers and all these situations that have happened where certain exclusions, certain limitations, whatever the case may be. And when I say, well, hey, look at your insurance program. And I tell you, hey, turn to page 30, look at this paragraph.
Endorsement,
it's going to say XYZ is excluded, or you have a height restriction and you're working on a 9-story apartment complex, but you have a 3-story height restriction.
Yeah.
Right. So again, I've taken that approach because it's more efficient, because I can show you a lot of times better than I can tell you.
Yeah.
When you can see it in black and white in writing right in front of you, that kind of hits home a little bit better. Same thing with your property owners that you're dealing with, right? They may not know what they have or don't have in their policies till they go to file a claim, and you're walking them through the process or what to expect on that property restoration job, right? It's the same thing with your insurance program.
Yeah, and that's why at our law firm, the first thing we look at is the policy. Like I won't even take on a client unless we see the policy first.
Exactly, because the language in that policy is going to dictate what gets bought on that property.
Yeah.
It's the same thing on your general liability program as well. If you have all these exclusions built into your policy, that carrier is not going to pay out a dime because that language in the policy is going to dictate where the risk lies and doesn't lie.
Yeah. Jeez, man. And people don't know it. Like so many people roll around with like a paper policy and they just don't care. They risk it to get the biscuit, right?
Man, I famous last words. Oh, I'm never going to use the insurance anyway. Famous last words. Trust me.
Let's go into some stories, man. And I know you can't put people on blast or anything like that, so you got to be careful about using names or instances. It's the same thing with the law firm, right?
Right.
But what have you seen? So have you ever seen a client come to you? Like, tell me something bad that happened to a client. Or maybe you've seen roofers go out of business. Have you seen a lot of roofers go out of business? Obviously not that you insured, but that had bad insurance and wish they would have came to you first.
Yeah, I mean, there's several stories, but I could definitely pick up on the one on a claim that our biggest claim to date.
Yeah.
I'll definitely touch on that one. And you're familiar with the contractor, but it was back in 2011, I believe. It was on a chocolate factory. It was an old IHOP that was converted into a chocolate factory.
Okay, Charlie.
Had a residential shingle on it, right? Well, it was a chocolate factory right before Valentine's Day, so they had a boatload of inventory. Pop-up thunderstorm happens in the state of Florida.
Yep.
Of course, they're trying to tarp the job. I mean, they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing, trying to tarp the job. But I mean, let's be realistic. That wind gets to blowing at 30, 40, 50, 60 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It can get hard to get that tarp to stay.
Yep.
For one, to get it to get the tarp down, but to get the tarp to stay throughout the night as well.
Yeah.
Well, of course, some of that aspect of that tarp failed and ended up being a $1.3 million claim. So again, that was considered an open roof claim. Yep. Because of it was a beautiful day. A pop-up thunderstorm happened, and they tried to mitigate the damages. But again, is
that similar to an act of God policy, like a hail, wind, fire, flood? Right?
Exactly. It's a pop-up thunderstorm. No one saw it coming, but it happened. And there's liabilities there.
Yep.
And the contractor was held responsible for that.
Yeah.
That was a $1.3 million later. We settled that claim.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll give you another little short story about people going out of business. This was a contractor I met probably 4 or 5 years ago at a conference. It will never ended up being my client. I think for this reason, he was working on a car dealership in the state of Oklahoma. And if anybody knows anything about Oklahoma, it gets a little windy up there. So he's doing a spray application on the car dealership, minding his own business. He's doing a spray application. Well, he gets off the ladder, gets off the property, and the dealership owner is just dog cussing him, going in on this guy, blah, blah, blah. Well, he was doing the spray application and damaged about 200 some odd vehicles in that car dealership. Well, that contract had an overspray exclusion.
Ooh.
So again, you talk about going out of business. That was 4 or 5 years ago, and I have not heard back from this.
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
So I hope I hope he's around. Yeah, I've actually ran into one of his employees 2 years ago at a conference, and he's like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And we talked about it, but he didn't even know whatever happened to that guy either. So again, I don't say these stories to scare people, but these are real life situations that I've seen happen because maybe they didn't know what they were buying. Maybe they didn't do the homework on the policy. Or maybe just flat out didn't know, or a pop-up thunderstorm happened, right? But we were fortunate enough that we structured the policy where there was coverage there.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of policies where they're going to have an open roof exclusion in that policy.
Yep.
Right? So, again, that's why I always preach, like, hey, do your homework, educate yourself on what your first line of defense is going to be. Yeah. It's going to be your general liability program.
Yeah, always. So it's kind of again, I want to go back to the fact that you're just in a cool position. You really are. You are one of the foremost experts, if not the foremost expert, on insurance to the insurance restoration industry. Things before they're coming, right? So is there anything, and I don't want to give you any trade secrets, but like the industry's changing every day. It's a lot different than it was when I started. It's a lot different than it was last year.
Yeah.
So like, do you see that in your line of insurance, in your niche? And do you see that coming to our niche at all? Like some differences that the underwriters are doing?
Absolutely. Things probably in the last 3 years are tightening up as far as the underwriting guidelines. And some of you out there that are shopping your insurance, your rates probably may have increased, right? Because we got to think about the storm activities that has happened across the country, the punitive damage lawsuits that are being handed out. right? These carriers being burned by contractors not having the proper risk controls in place, meaning they use an uninsured subcontractor, but they're representing they use insured subs, and it's an uninsured subcontractor you have a claim on. Well, guess what? It falls back on that carrier to pay out that claim because there's still liabilities there, right? So what I would say is now more than ever, pay attention to your risk management. And having the proper risk controls in place. Whether it be your corporate docs, your insurance, whatever entails that risk management for your company, it's definitely more important now than ever to make sure that that's buttoned up because the state of our industry and the legal climate and everything that's going on in our space.
Just getting worse. What about property damage? Is there anything that you can foresee coming to our side of it? The property damage. What's going to affect us as a law firm that goes after insurance companies and makes them pay, or as a contractor that is doing roofs, whether it's small or large, is what's coming down the line from the underwriters? Do you see that? Do you know that?
Higher
Do you have any
deductibles.
guesses?
Higher deductibles.
Higher deductibles.
Higher deductibles are definitely coming down the pipeline. And some carriers are already doing that now. To a 2 and some 3%, right?
We
Again,
got a 5%. We came across a 5%.
You're going to see a lot more of those. You're going to see a lot more of the deductibles. Probably the property rates are going up, depending on the state. Florida right now, for example, property policies right now are being smoked.
I think if you're out there looking to get into business, I think the best business you could get in is start an insurance company in the state of Florida, because you can charge whatever you want. The minute you see a hurricane coming, file bankruptcy. Line your pockets for the last 5 years.
Seemed like a lot of carriers did that.
Ponzi scheme. I don't know. I didn't say it. I'm just saying. Anybody want to start an insurance company?
But that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing. The trends. The rates are going to increase, and the deductibles are definitely increasing. So you contractors out there, probably get ready. Maybe look for financing options for your property owners and all that good stuff, because you are going to see a trend in that increasing.
Wow, man. It's scary. And I overheard a conversation that you were talking about. I think I came in the tail end of it, talking about where this industry is going in the next few years. And you had said that, like, hey, higher deductibles. Was there anything else that you think is coming down the line from your underwriters? Or
nothing that I can say, hey, this is probably coming. There's rumors that I hear here and there, but nothing that's going to be, outside of that I can say, like, oh, this is definitely going to impact the consumer directly.
Yeah. Well, so we're commercial roofing radio, right? We want to talk about commercial roofs.
Sure.
You work with all of the best and biggest commercial roofing companies in the nation, or general contractors and everybody, Roof Choice Insurance. I know you can't give up too many trade secrets or anything, but is there any advice that you can give anybody watching on, like, what you see differently from these little guys that are making the mistakes, or maybe the middle-sized guys that are making mistakes, and the big guys? Like, what's the difference? Why are some guys struggling getting commercial roofs and selling commercial roofs and breaking that $10, $20 million? And what do you see differently that these $100 million plus companies are doing? Is it something that, like, man, they're just more professional? Is it they work harder? Is it they care more? Like, is there anything different?
Probably a little bit of all that, but definitely they delegate and put processes in place. Where versus like, oh, I worked for you, I sold $1 million. Oh, I can do that. I can go start off my own deal. But maybe I was just a hotshot salesperson, but not a business-minded individual to run the company. I can go sell $1 million for you, but can I sustain that and run a business doing that, right? So I see that a lot, where a lot of individuals think, oh, I was a hotshot salesperson for XYZ roofing company, I'm going to go off and do my own things. And they can go out and sell the jobs, but it's from the A to Z. It's everything in between where they cannot accomplish. And that's when they start losing jobs and clients are being mad and all that. So I can see the processes that these bigger contractors put and follow through with is definitely what I can consider a big differentiator.
You touched on something earlier. It's something I like to say a lot. Business principles are universal. Right? Industries, they follow trends, right? In our industry as a whole, this insurance restoration, this catastrophe industry is pretty new, right? It's on this newer scale. So it's in this phase that's a massive expansion phase of the industry. Think about it like a giant bubble. And why is it expanding so fast? You think of all the technology and stuff. Because if you're a sales guy, it's actually pretty easy nowadays to go start a roofing company without any knowledge, without any practice, without anything. You get So why not? Why not? Got to risk it to get the biscuit. We're all entrepreneurs. Let's go out and try to earn something. And I think that's huge. Like these guys are going and starting these roofing companies, which is great. All the power to you. But they weren't even trained on anything. They didn't even see the full process.
Yeah.
I had sales guys that would work for me, and I'm never going to put down somebody's passion. I always want to uplift and empower people. So if you have that mission to go out and start a roofing company and go out on your own, that's great. But I've had guys that sold $300,000, never even went all the way through the process. They ain't collected a check. Never dealt with one problem homeowner. If business insurance, what's that?
Oh yeah.
What, payment terms with suppliers, they just have no idea. There's this other side of the business, and it's crazy, and it's good and bad. You want to establish your niche right now, because with that massive expansion, eventually that bubble pops. It stops expanding, and what does it do? It starts contracting. So how does it contract? You're already seeing it. Private equity companies start buying companies up. Franchises, big money moves into the space. And again, there's people that are a lot smarter than you and I that are sitting up in these ivory towers watching all these different industries and looking at opportunity. And they see opportunity in our industry right now, and so they're coming after it. And so do things the right way. Go out, get insurance, build your book of business, build your brand, do that thing, and reach out to this man right here. So, I'm always trying to be conscious of time. I never want to go too long with these things. And you and I can start exchanging stories, and we get down this rabbit hole.
Fun, right? Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I want to go into my favorite segment of the show.
Okay.
And that is, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? We grew up, we're probably the same exact age. I don't even know if you're 91, 90.
I'm 91.
Yeah, 91. Okay. Did you watch any Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. How do you not, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, were you a fan? Did you like Regis, Slumdog Millionaire?
Man, I mean, we didn't have cable TV, so that was just on the regular channel, so I would watch it. It was on.
Daytime television, skipping school, always, did you always feel like you could win?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one's made so you can't win, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to rig these against you.
Okay.
Right? Just so you know.
Fair enough.
So it's very similar, but there's some subtle differences.
Okay.
You're not going to win $1 million. I'm sorry.
I'm out.
There's no $1 million, right? You get bragging rights, which are better anyway in this industry, right? There's only 4 questions. Only 4 questions. You only get 2 lifelines. Right? 1 lifeline is phone a friend.
Okay.
2nd lifeline is 50-50. Wipe away 2 of the wrong answers. And the 3rd one, we don't have a live audience. So I know there's these laugh tracks and these cool people and stuff when you're watching this, but there's actually no live audience.
Okay.
We're just laughing at each other's jokes.
Okay.
So that's for the people at home.
Got it.
So
make sure y'all laugh.
Make sure you laugh, right? Okay. So from the roofing capital of the world, Waxahachie, Texas.
That's right.
So Waxahachie, Texas, if y'all don't know, look it up. It is a very famous town. It's quaint.
Alan's from there, come on.
Yeah, and Mervyn, right? Homecoming king, prom king, something like that. I don't know, cool guy. You may have heard of him, right? So there's a lot of stuff about Waxahachie. You can go on and on forever. I could have done 100 questions on just Waxahachie, but we know that it's an Indian name, Waxahachie. Is that correct?
Yes.
You know that?
Yes.
What does that mean? What does Waxahachie mean? Is it A, gingerbread? Is it B, Buffalo Creek? Is it C, city? Or is it D, farming?
Buffalo Creek.
Oh, didn't even have to think about it.
I could have stopped you there. Yeah.
You're going to stop me right there.
Am I right? That's my final answer.
Oh, man, you got it. Man, I thought the gingerbread would throw you off.
Nah, I actually kind of knew that one. So I was like, wait, what is this?
I didn't know it.
But when you said Buffalo, that's what it is.
That's what it is. Oh, man. So you got me. You got it on the first one. So you got it. Okay, here's another one. I think this one's going to stump you. All right, so insurance. You're in the insurance industry. Insurance, we all need insurance. We have insurance for everything. Everything's insurance. It's crazy. You got to have it. Big business. It's amazing, right? When was the first insurance company in the United States created?
Oh.
Is it A, 1776, B, 1801, D, or C, 1732, or D, 1885?
It wasn't. Repeat those. Can you?
1776.
Okay.
1801, 1732, or 1885. He's thinking. We're gonna start the clock.
I'm gonna say B.
You're gonna say B.
By Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin, 1801. Final answer.
Yes.
You are. I think that's the best buzzer sound. I make my buzzer sounds. They're awful. People probably watch it and like, dude, what is he? Why is this? What's this dead bird? 1732. C is the final answer. So it was actually before the United States was kind of right.
Yeah,
1776.
Yeah. I don't even know if Benjamin Franklin was alive. I think I'm way past. I think he was dead by then.
Yeah, probably. I have no idea. Okay. Here's another one. All right. Big UNT guy. Right?
Yep, that's right.
Big UNT guy. I got some jokes about UNT.
North Texas.
I can't say them in public, and it pretty much goes with how it's spelled.
Hey, Stone Cold Steve Austin went there, so
that's the man. There you go. All right. Well, we work in the insurance industry, and we get a lot of business from hail, wind, fire, flood. So this is a hail question. How many hailstorms have been spotted by the Doppler in Denton? Like completely total.
Oh, right? Wow.
Just hailstorms total. Spotted by the Doppler in Denton, Texas. Is it A, 122, B, 65, C, 233, or D, 45?
45.
Without a hesitation, no lifelines. Remember, you got 2 lifelines. This is your third question.
Well, that's right. Let me do the 50-50.
Do the 50-50. Okay, I'm going to get rid of 65 and 233. So it's either 122 or 45.
45.
45?
It's my final answer. Yes. I don't even know where to get that information.
There you go. Google. And Google, I get a lot of things. And I try to find things that you're not going to get, just to be fair. So I've given that information to, who was it? It was Jaden Reichel, for Masters. And he literally, I think he got all the answers right based off of how I was trying to manipulate him into a wrong.
Well, that's what I was trying to get to read too.
Yeah. So I play more poker with you now. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I can't be whatever. Yeah. Okay, this next one's a pretty cool one. I've asked it to a couple people. So I like asking it, right? It's interesting, and it has to do with insurance. You have to enter insurance. Okay. A lot of major insurance events in the United States and throughout our history. So what is the largest insurance event to ever happen in the United States? Was it Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Katrina, the Lehman Brothers, it was a bank, right? 2008 financial crisis. So the largest paying insurance event.
Can I phone a friend?
Phone a friend?
Let's phone a friend.
Let's do it.
Let's phone a friend.
All right, my favorite one. You got to put it on speakerphone too.
Okay.
Try to get it so your mic can hear it. He's not a friend if he doesn't answer.
Hey, Brett.
What's up?
Hey, I'm doing the commercial roofing radio podcast here with Alan, and I'm doing the segment of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And I had to phone a friend, and you are the friend that I am phoning. So we're live right now, and just I need
somebody.
Yeah, it's me and dude. It's the last question, and I need you to come through for us so I can become a millionaire.
And then he quits and moves to Disney World. Stay off Google.
Yeah, okay. All right, go ahead and ask the question.
What was the largest insurance claim event in the United States? Was it A, Hurricane Ian, B, Hurricane Katrina, C, the Lehman Brothers bank collapse, or 2008, the financial crisis?
Hurricane Ian.
Is that our final answer?
That's our final answer.
That's our final answer.
You're going to go with him. You just trust him like that.
I don't know. I mean, hey, we're going Hurricane Ian. I trust my boy.
Okay.
Am I a millionaire?
You're going home, bro.
Hey, thanks for nothing. Yeah, this is definitely rigged. Thanks for nothing, Brett. Was it the Lehman Brothers?
No, it's actually the 2008 financial crisis.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Lehman Brothers kind of caused the financial crisis.
Yeah.
It was the financial crisis.
Well, thanks for nothing, Brett. We're back. I guess we got to continue working.
I wasn't even doing insurance.
That's a solid point. This is definitely rigged.
Stop there.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you taking my call.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Later.
What is that? My biggest regret in life is I was a junior in high school and I couldn't buy property in 2008. Biggest financial regret.
Yeah, I'd be so further ahead in life.
I wasn't a fucking junior in high school. Well, brother, it's a pleasure talking to you. It's a pleasure hanging out with you. It's a pleasure in the same industry nowadays, right? So tell the people at home, I'll tell the people at home, you need to use this guy if you need insurance for your roofing company, which if you have a roofing company, you need insurance, call the man. So how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can feel free to reach out to me on my email. My email is Mervyn, MERVYN @B as in boy -SIG.com, Mervyn @B-SIG.com. Or feel free to call us at our office, 855-766-3980. I'm happy to help you guys, here to help, here to walk you through the processes, what to expect, what to look out for. If you want a free comprehensive policy review, make sure you cite that you heard it on the podcast here, and we'll definitely get you set up.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right.